Installing valves. First, lubricate the valve assembly in engine oil. Then, insert the valve stem through the valve guide. Now, grease the keeper groove or grooves. And install the retainer over the valve stem. Then install the keepers and pull the retainer up over them. Now, without the valve spring in place and while putting pressure on the retainer, measure the installed height of each valve spring. If the height is greater than specifications, you'll need to install valve spring inserts between the spring and spring pad. This is important. The valve spring installed height must be correct in order to prevent a reduction in spring tension, especially after any valve face or valve seat grinding. Now remove the keepers and the retainer so that you can install the valve seal. There are two types of valve seals. The umbrella type, which fits tightly over the valve stem with the lower end extending past the valve guide, and the positive type, which fits tightly over the valve guide. If you use a positive type, you must put a protective cap on the stem before installing the seal to prevent damage to the seal. Apply a thin film of polyethylene grease or equivalent to the valve tip. Insert the valve in its guide. Install the protective cap over the valve stem. Then install the valve seal with a valve seal installer or equivalent and remove the protective cap. Now position the valve spring inserts if needed, the valve spring and the retainer over the stem. Be sure the closed coil end of the valve spring is next to the cylinder head. With a valve spring compressor or equivalent, compress the valve spring, install the keepers in the keeper groove, and release the spring compressor. Then, to make sure the keepers seat properly in the retainers, tap the retainer lightly with a soft-faced hammer. And finally, recheck the valve spring installed height to make sure it's correct. This will ensure proper spring tension.